All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And you're probably wondering about the title. Why would I put a title like that? No, I don't think I'm a Hamite. But the reason I put that title is I just got done watching a video. It was a short clip. It was put up by the brother Yashalom, GMS Watchman, and it was basically you had this individual from ISUPK, I believe it was, but the title was something along the lines of ISUPK says the Igbo, Ashanti, and I believe it was Yoruba are just plain Africans or something to that effect. And yeah, and I watched it, and I'm listening to the dude. He's talking about, you got people that say the Igbos, or Israelites, they just some plain old Nigerians, or the Ashantis, they just some plain old fufu eating Africans and yada yada. And so the spirit jumped on me. I said, all right, Lord willing, I'll do a video, sort of in response to that, because myself and my brother, all right, we are Ashantis. Both our parents are Ashantis, so we're directly descended from that. And I mean, we're in the truth, right? We're teaching the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And nobody's ever called me a heathen, right, or a Hamite. So that's why I put the title there, which is not just me. I just put that in there just as a a response title. But you have a lot of brothers, teachers, prophets, okay, that are pushing the word of the Lord now, that are from different parts of Africa, that are from Nigeria. You have a lot of brothers that are from Nigeria. You have a lot of brothers that are from Ghana, that are Ashantis and from the various different tribes over there. And as a matter of fact, you have people in there that know that they're Israelites. They know that, especially the nobility, the chiefs and the kings, and the when you go to their areas, they have records, and they know that they go back to the Israelites. So the question is, am I a Hamite? Or is my brother a Hamite? Or the rest of the brothers that are Nigerian, so-called Nigerian, or so-called Ghanaian, or descended of that, are we Hamites? Because that would be a very interesting thing, wouldn't you say? Right? If I'm a Hamite, what business do I got teaching the word of the Lord? Right now, I'm sure there's probably individuals that didn't know. All right, probably didn't know that I was Ashanti, right? So why how I thought the name of the Lord was dreadful among the heathen. I pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai every night, right? And Lord willing, I do videos that edify you brothers and sisters. So what business does not a so-called, but what business does a Hamite have teaching the word of the Lord? Why would the Lord allow that? Okay, and then the reason I'm doing this is because it's to show you, when Jake makes statements like that, and they say, oh yeah, these people are Hamites, and you can't say the Israelites, and you can't say the Israelites, they're not speaking in reality, because you have a lot of individuals that you walk amongst, that you say, oh Jake, oh look at Jake, oh look at Jake this, oh look at Jake that, whether they're athletes or musicians or whatever the case is, that go back to these same individuals or these same groups that you were saying are Hamites. You see? So when there's one thing to say something, right? And then there's another thing to prove it. So you're saying that, and in essence, we say that Ashantis are Israelites and the Igbos are Israelites because they are. And if you know history, you will know that majority or the bulk of the slaves, the Southern Kingdom, and even you got some Northern Kingdom mixed in there, that came here, that were brought here, because majority of us didn't just spawn on the soils of America, right? We know that there was a slave trade, and a lot of Jake were brought over here. So where were these Israelites? Where were they brought from? Okay, there were different parts of the world, but the main part was Africa. namely the western coast of Africa, right? So where the Israelites that you see today, majority of them, when you actually read into the history, go back, they were Ashantis and Igbos and Yoruba that were taken from their land and brought over here. A lot of Jake and the Caribbeans or the Caribbeans, they go back to the Ashantis and the various different tribes. Okay, Nigerians are Israelites. A lot of Israelites you see here walking around, they're pants sagging, they speak American. They speak that Jake slang, you know. Some of them gang banging and all that. You look at them and you say, oh yeah, that's Jake. He may be bugged out or he may be doing wickedness, but oh, that's definitely our people, right? But you would be surprised how many of those people, if you went up to them and you actually looked and found out where they go back to, they will go back to the same tribes or same countries that you are calling Hamites. And it goes to show you that a lot of you are not spiritual. You know, you're not spiritual. You don't understand. As a matter of fact, let's start off with the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, because this was one of the curses, right? How, if the Lord said he was going to scatter us among all nations, then how is it that when we say, okay, well, you have Israelites that come out of the land of Africa or the land of, you know, Europe or wherever, because we were scattered there, how come automatically they are heathens? You know? Because the point is, once again, you may see somebody and not know what is their background, so to speak, and you may say, oh yeah, that's definitely an Israelite. And then what happens if you go there and you find out, oh well, this person actually goes back to the Igbos, or this person is actually Nigerian. There's a lot of celebrities that people you know, watch and are like, oh yeah, oh that's Jake all the way. And then when you look into their lineage, you say, oh wait, this person actually goes back to, oh, he's Nigerian? I never knew that. So are you, when you find that out, are you automatically going to switch your stance and say, oh shit, he's Nigerian? Oh, never mind, let me back up, he's a heathen. If that's the case, then damn near all of us are heathens, right? For all you know, the individual that said it, your line probably goes back to an Ashanti or an Igbo or somebody like that. So are you a Hamite? In any case, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, and don't even get me started on the customs and the manners and the things that are done over there. All right, because you know, if the spirit permits, Lord willing, I'll do a follow-up video with my brother on we'll do a comparison or similarity going into the customs, the manners, the behavior, the laws, the things that are done over there, and you'll see how the direct correlation between the scriptures, the laws in the scriptures, the behavior of the Israelites then, all right, or in the scriptures, and the people in certain other countries in Africa. Okay, Nigerians, Ghanaians, and not just that, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, okay, all over. And then you sit there and say that they're Hamites, as if, first off, why the hell would we want to lump in actual Hamites into this truth, into this gospel? Okay, it's not even possible. The Most High is not going to allow you to bring Hamites. not only so a Hamite is going to wake up to the fact that they're an Israelite. A Hamite is going to wake up and believe that they're an Israelite. They're going to call upon the name of the Lord. They're going to learn the truth. They're going to teach the word of the Lord. they're going to feed the Lord's sheep, but they're a Hamite? How does that even make sense? It doesn't, but it goes to show you once again the lack of spirituality. So let's get this. This is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 64. It says here, and the Lord shall scatter you among all people from the one end of the earth even onto the other. Now, when we what we teach is not that Africans are Israelites. No. Particularly, it is that you have Israelites living in the land. So you're going to have certain countries, say you go to Africa, right, which is the land of Ham, right, as it is called. but you have Israelites living in different places over there, right? You have Israelite, just like you had in Egypt, Alexandria, Egypt, you had a large community of Israelites in there. Guess what? You have large chunks of Israelites living in that land. So we're not saying that every single individual, you come and you say you an African, oh, you an Israelite, you're not no African. No, we are saying that you have Israelites living amongst them, right? And you have Israelites that have their ancestors go back, or their forefathers or parents or whatever go back there. So just because they were born on that land, okay, or they lived there for a while, does not mean that they're Hamites. Just because, oh, that's the land of Ham, y'all are lumping in Africans, saying that they're Israelites. Why the hell do we want to do that? Because first off, them Africans, they gotta pay too, right? And then he goes, and then I think he mentions, I think it was the Yoruba. He said it was majority of them that were selling us into slavery. Well, I remember, I think years ago, Apostle Tahar did a video going in as to how you had during the slave trade, you also had Israelites selling other Israelites into slavery. Yes, you actually had Israelites selling their fellow Israelites into slavery, along with the Hamites who were also catching Jake and selling them. Okay? Because guess what? Jake is still wicked as hell, and they would do that. All right. So continuing on, it says here, and the Lord shall, Deuteronomy 28:64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So as it says here, among all people, that's the north, east, west, south. And this is why upon the return of Yahushua, when you read in Revelation the seventh chapter, which really, this is all basics, it's basics. This isn't even something that requires a deep understanding or deep knowledge to receive it. This is if the Lord said he was going to scatter us among all people, and when he comes back, he's going to gather the elect of our people from the places we were scattered, how is that rocket science? How is that so difficult to understand? But hey, there's a scripture that says to I forget how exactly it's worded. Maybe it's because I'm a Hamite, I don't know. I'm just messing around. But I forget exactly how it's worded, but I think it's along the lines of to the just all things are plain, or something along those lines. All right, but the point is that if the Spirit is with you, a lot of these things that are pretty straightforward to understand, they will be clear to understand. It won't take you years to like the Apostle Peter mentioned about the letters of the Apostle Paul, how certain men wrestle right in their mind with these words because they can't fully receive it. But if the Spirit is working with you, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be easy to grasp, easy to receive, right? But for some individuals, that's why, you wonder, hold on a second, how is that, what don't you understand about this? But that's because the Lord, there's a scripture that says ever learning, but never able to come to the fullness, of the truth. You can't get 100% of it because the Lord blocked you from it. All right. Now let's go here, because let's deal with a little bit of history, right? When you go to the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, it goes into the time period of Yahushua's time during the Roman Empire, when you had Herod, and he went around slaying the young infants, looking for Yahushua, and so on and so forth. Now in Revelation, the 12th chapter, okay, in Revelation, the 12th chapter, in any case, it goes into Jake, right? And it talks about mainly the southern tribe, the three southern tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Although, once again, you did have certain of the northern tribes mingled among them. But jumping down to the point in Revelation chapter 12, verse 6, it says, and the woman, right, fled into the wilderness, which the woman here is referring to the same woman in the first chapter, all right, which is the nation of Israel. But at this time, it was really dealing with those the Israelites that were there at the time, right? So it says here, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. All right, which this also links up with was it Micah 4:10? So the woman fled into the wilderness. That wilderness that she fled into was Africa. Africa is a big landmass, right? And when the woman fled in there, which were Israelites, when you read, even in the time, when you read in the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, I believe it's around like page 82 or 84 or 81, somewhere along those lines, it tells you how during the time of the military generals, I think it talks about from Pompey to Vespasian, it was estimated that over 1 million Jews fled from Israel into Africa, fleeing Roman persecution. So you had a chunk of them that fled during the time of the Roman Jewish wars, right? Well, from 66 to 73, but that wasn't the only time that Israelites were either migrating or fleeing or moving. Okay? Even during the time of Yahushai's birth, where did Joseph and Mary go? So you had Israelites that went into Africa. Now, there was a large community in Egypt, but that's not the only place that Jake settled. Jake migrate. They go. Deal with the Moors, for example. The Moors are Israelites. They were just Israelites practicing the religion of Islam. Okay? So you had Israel all over, and I mean, right now we're highlighting the land of Africa, but Israel is scattered all around. India, okay, Sri Lanka, China, Japan. You have Israelites all over there as well. Because if you move with that mindset, then you gotta basically say the same thing, right? You gotta say, okay, well then that would mean that Israelites that are in Japan, no, they're not Israelites, they're Ammonites. Those that are Israelites in China, no, they're Moabites. If you're not here in America or in UK or in the ghettos over here, then you ain't an Israelite. Then how can we be the largest nation? How can we be as the sand of the sea, but we're only here in America and in maybe in the UK, but in the small pockets, only the ones you can see that are smoking weed on the corner and have their pants down sagging and making music and yada yada. They are the Israelites. Anybody else, then no, it ain't about it. That makes absolutely no sense. All right, absolutely no sense. And if that's the case, then how do you explain Revelation, the 7th chapter? Right, so going on, back in Revelation 12, so it says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, which is Africa, where she hath a place prepared of God, that there they should feed her 1,260 days, which is America. This talks about us fleeing into Africa and then being brought to America. So this 6th verse wasn't a one-day thing. This 6th verse wasn't a 2-day thing or a 100 or 200-year thing. This is a long period of time. Okay? This is a long period of time. And within that long period of time, you had Israelites that spread further and further. You have Israelites in East Africa, South Africa, West Africa. A lot of them in West Africa. All right? As a matter of fact, even the slave traders and the slave masters that came over there, they knew what they were doing. There's a book, Hebrewisms of West Africa. I believe that's the book. Yeah, Hebrewisms of West Africa, and it goes in, and it explains to you that the bulk of the slaves that were brought over here were taken from there. They were taken from the Ashantis and the Igbos and Yorubas and all the different other tribes that were brought over here. Brought to Haiti, brought to the different lands here in the Caribbeans, all right, in Central America, in South, they were brought over here. Okay, so the people you see here, guess what? Where do you think they go back to? And now let's go, since I mentioned this, let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 7. And that's the thing. How do you explain these verses? How do you explain these precepts? what does this mean? What we're about to read here, Revelation chapter 7, and I'm gonna jump down. All right, we know it's talking here about it goes into the 144,000, but when we come down to the 9th verse, right, as it says, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, right, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So this Revelation in the 7th chapter and the 9th verse, we obviously we go into it and we break it down that these aren't heathens, these are Israelites. So why is the Apostle John saying that of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues? See, here's something about genetics, right? Here's something about how the outward or the phenotype works. You may your genes may be one way, the way you behave, your characteristics, your spirit is one way, but your outward appearance can be influenced by your environment, environmental factors. What does your mother look like? Where are you, what is the nature of where you are? Okay? Chances are, and we always use this example, you have an Israelite that goes to a foreign land. He deals with the women over there. His descendants come out over time, they start to look more like the people of those lands. But it doesn't mean that this individual is not an Israelite. They're still an Israelite. Their descendants are still Israelites, but they start to look like, they start to speak like, they might speak that language. They might look like those people. They might, I don't know, sound with an accent like those people. But how they would behave in the spirit would be that of an Israelite, because their line goes back to an Israelite. Okay, and that's the same thing here in Revelation, the 7th chapter and 9th verse. You're gonna have Israelites that look like East Indians, Israelites that look like Moabites and Ammonites. Okay, because they're when you go back down up their line, you had an Israelite that came over there that's that dealt with this kind of woman, yada yada. And so you're gonna have Israelites that look like those various different nations. Are you gonna look at them and say, all right, you look like a Moabite, so you are a Moabite? You look like a Hamite, you're living in the land of Ham, you are definitely a Hamite. You look like an Edomite, you living in the land of Edom, you are definitely an Edomite. So it says, verse 10, but so not only did they look like these other nations, right? It says here, verse 10, they had, or back in verse 9, they stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne and unto the Lamb. What's that talking about? Since when did the Most High become God, the God of the heathens? Since when did he become the God of all nations? Now, he is the Most High, but he is the God of Israel. So how come they're saying here, glory be to our God? So who are these people that the Apostle John saw in his vision? This innumerable multitude of all kindreds and nations and tongues. No, they were not Gentiles. Watch vocab alone in the cut. He's like, yeah, say it. They were not Gentiles. They were Israelites. Okay. See what we got on here. Yep, this is Chasad, the hopeful elect man, 144, John 7 and 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Khan, exactly. All right, and that's the point. You gotta. The scriptures talk about trying the spirits by the Spirit, whether they be of the Most High. And the Spirit is what will tell you. That's why ultimately the point is, when we go out there, we teach the scriptures, because it doesn't matter what you look like. The scriptures is a discerner of thoughts, as it says in Hebrews the 4th chapter, right? The word of the Lord is quick and powerful. It's a discerner of thoughts. So you could be a heathen, you could be an Israelite, but even still, if you're not of the elect, then that's it. You can keep it pushing. And if you are of the elect, guess what? Whether you are or you're not, the word is going to reveal it. Because while you're in the midst and the spirit is going out and the word is coming out, your spirit is going to have a reaction to it. You're either going to have an adverse reaction or it's gonna be a pleasant reaction. Okay? And you're gonna be drawn closer, or you're gonna step. You gotta go. It ain't for you. Yep, that's the one. Bayan Yasharali, Hebrews 4:12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of thoughts and intents of the heart. Yeah. Yep, this is Dan Ya'ala the Levite 4, Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. Look, man, more than likely, a lot of your friends that you know that you don't even know, but you know, if you probably looked into their line, you find, oh shoot, wow, you're actually, you're such and such, or you're such and such, But I mean, according to you, we're all Hamites. We're all Hamites. We're just really good actors. Hamites that do a really good job of spending their time, serving the Lord. What Hamite do you know that's interested in doing that? A Hamite that wants to serve the God of Israel? A Hamite that's telling other Hamites that they're going to slavery. Yo, Jake, man. There's always something with Jake. Let's see. Yep, hopeful like 3, Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about her are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Yeah, which ultimately, I remember, I think Apostle Gabar did a video on it, going into how, hey, Shalom Apostle Watawata, but he did a video going into it about the breakdown of that verse, which we applied also in the sense, all right, of Jake coming looking like all different shades and colors. All right, this is yep, Stay in the Spirit 144, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshai Barakatham. Psalms 105:23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob oh my God. Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Okay, Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. So, well, but I'm sorry, Jacob is a Hamite. He said, no. Jacob has to be a Hamite. He was in the land of Ham. He had descendants in there. Wait a minute. Let's deal with Joseph. That must mean Manasseh and Ephraim got to be Hamites, because Joseph's wife Asenath, not only was she a Hamite, she was also the daughter of an Egyptian priest, a sun god. Right? What's going on there? What's happening there? The tribes. Guess what? We became a nation in Egypt, but Egypt is in the land of Ham. See, so you got Israelites that come out and they make these statements. They don't back it up scripturally, because they can't, because scriptures don't teach that. But they come out and they say it with pride, and they say it boldly, and y'all saying these or that. There are a majority of brothers that are from these tribes, some that know and some that don't know, okay, that are teaching right now, that dedicate their life to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, that go out there in the winter, that are more diligent probably than the individual who made the comment himself, that pray to the Lord, that have gone through whatever the case is for the Lord, sacrifices and whatever that is. But we're Hamites. Jake, man. Yep, that's it. I read this at the beginning, but, I read it again. Twice as nice. ATL Mahar 12, Deuteronomy 28:64. It says, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people. That's not exclusive. The Lord didn't say that and then change his mind later on and say, no, this is going to be a little too confusing. All people, but really just keep them in this portion right here. No, all people means all people. Right? It says, among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other. So it's not the East on one end, it's not Africa on one end, it's not America on one end, it's not China and Russia and India and all these places. These are all different parts of the earth that we were scattered. Think of it like this, right? Imagine you're holding imagine you're holding like a ball of marbles, right? And then so I don't know, you trip or something, and then they all drop out of your hand, and they get scattered all throughout your room or your living room or wherever. Guess what? When you go looking for those marbles, you're not gonna find them all in one place. That's what the word scattered means. You're not gonna find it all in one place. You might find one under the refrigerator over there. You might find one in your bathroom, wondering how the hell I was in the living room. How the hell did the marble get in my bathroom? You might find one under your living room couch. You might find one in the corner next to the trash can. You might find one right next to the TV in the corner, because they're scattered. So you gotta go to your bathroom. You gotta go to your kitchen. You gotta go to the couch in your living room. You gotta look under it in order to gather those marbles that at one point were all together in your hand. Are you gonna say that, oh, no, because it's under the couch, that's not one of my marbles? Nah, that can't be one of my marbles. It's in the bathroom. I didn't take it to the bathroom, so it's not one of my marbles. You gotta be spiritual, man. You gotta be spiritual. Now think about it. How if the Most High, not if, the Most High is watching all this, right? How do you expect to be made a judge over Israel when you can't even judge these things? That's what the Apostle Paul mentioned, right? He said, how are you supposed to judge? Because we're supposed to judge angels, we're supposed to judge heavy matters, but you can't even judge these matters. The Lord puts all of these things here to see, how do we react? How are we, look, going out there to the highways and byways and learning these scriptures and teaching it is more than just knowing scriptures, knowing breakdowns, doing videos and teaching. No, the Lord is also assessing your ability to discern, your ability to judge. And a lot of you Israelites are showing a poor, okay, you're showing a poor ability to discern and to judge righteously. Okay, you're judging with a carnal mind, and yet you're trying to use a spiritual book to judge with a carnal mind. You're trying to judge a spiritual people on a carnal basis. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in what? In spirit and in truth. See a lot of good precepts on here. Yep. Elder Apostle Baqar, I got some info I found to bring out to complement this video. Those charlatans at the ICBK don't do no in-depth research. Khan, no, absolutely. I'll be looking forward to that video, Apostle. Yep. Stay in the spirit 144, Isaiah 11:11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush. Wait, whoa, the Lord is gathering Cushites? From Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. That's a beautiful precept. The Lord is going to gather the remnant of his people from there. Are you going to stop the Lord and tell him that, wait, Lord, you can't do that. Those are Hamites, or those are heathens. Those are Elamites. You know, you can't, no, the Assyrians? Not spiritual at all, man. Not spiritual at all. Yep, GMS prophet Nehemiah, Genesis 48:5. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. But they were born in the land of Egypt. So Israelites were born in the land of Ham, but they're Israelites. But other Israelites today that have ancestors in the land of Ham, or were born in the land of Ham, they're not Israelites. Oh man. Continuing, stay in the spirit. 144, Isaiah 11:12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The four corners of the earth only goes as far, but it doesn't include Africa. Anything Africa related? Oh, no. That's not a part of the four corners. Yep. ATL Mahar 12, Amos 9:9. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations. Like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. And when you're sifting, you got it all together. but you're gonna have the one that you want stays in the sieve, and then the parts that you don't want, they get sifted out. Okay, but if it was so obvious to just determine who's an Israelite and who's not, why would the Lord need to use the analogy of sifting? Why did they invent a sifter? If it was so easy to just separate it, why did they invent a sifter? All right, let's see what else we got in here. And Lord willing, I'll wrap it up. I believe I made the point. Yep, Bayan Yasharala, Matthew 24:31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. There you go. All right. It doesn't get clearer than that. So it says here, yep, Romans 8:7, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, and it is for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. Exactly, and that's why they don't understand, they can't receive it. Yep, this is Elder Apostle Gabar, the rapper Nas. His background is look at that. His father's name is Oludara, which is Nigerian for God is good in the Yoruba language. Oh no, but he's a heathen. Can any of those clowns at ICBK rap better than Nas? And they can't. They can't. But see, I bet a lot of them will listen. They listen to Nas. They're fans. A good majority of them are. But wait, what? So is Nas an exception? Are the celebrities and the people that they like, they're an exception? But anybody else, you from the land of Ham, your parents are Nigerian, you go back to the Ashantis or the Yorubas? No. Or the Igbos? No, you a Hamite. These dudes are, yeah, man, they're done, man. They're done. You know, but in any case, yeah, that was pretty much it. You know, the Spirit just jumped on me to do a lesson on that, because this just proves all the more how ignorant of a statement that is, because that's a statement that comes from an ignorant mind, right? And when you, like, if I do a video like this and I say, okay, well, I'm an Ashanti, so you're saying the Ashantis are Hamites, right? I'm an Ashanti. Am I a Hamite? Clearly I'm not, right? You say Nigerians are Hamites. You have Nigerian brothers that are pushing this word as hard as they can, that the Lord loves. Are they Hamites? Boy, oh boy. But in any case, Lord willing, you know, this is edifying to the elect. You know, in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash, the water for the precepts and the water for tuning in. Until next time, Shalom.